Hello, ladies. I am Lebo, the voice of marketing, podcast host, and entrepreneur. Today's session, I'm going to teach you how to switch it up by building a personal brand. You're going to get all the tools that you need to build the life of your dreams simply by sharing your unique talents and skills with the world. It was Maya Angelou who said, "If you're too busy trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be." Personal branding teaches you how to tap into your amazing and to share it with the world so you can live the life of your dreams. But before I can teach you how to build a successful personal brand, we need to understand what a personal brand is. Now, most people will tell you that a personal brand is just your reputation or who you are. But my definition of a personal brand goes deep into what it really means to harness who you are to achieve your dreams. Therefore, my definition of a personal brand is the version of you that is commercially viable. It's your commercial DNA. And like other products and services, you can't appeal to everyone or do everything. By having a personal brand, you learn to tap into what you can offer the market and what they're trying to buy from you, and find a way to scale that so that you can build the life of your dreams and become anything you want to be. And the most important part of this session is building your personal brand online. Why do we say that you need to build your personal brand online? It's because there are over 3 billion people on social media, making it the biggest marketplace in the world. If you're not tapped into these mini communities and different audiences, you are not allowing your personal brand to reach the people that it could. And you're not allowing yourself to have the opportunities to scale, to grow, and achieve your objectives. So now that we know what a personal brand is and why we should build it online, let's get into how to build a successful personal brand. In this session, we're going to go through 7 basic steps on how to create the personal brand of your dreams. Are you ready? Because I am. Let's switch it up and build the personal brands of our dreams. So the first step in building a personal brand is understanding your why. I'm sure you've heard it before. Simon Sinek speaks about it all the time, but it's very important to understand why you're trying to build a personal brand. Many people fail when they try to build personal brands because they're doing it to become famous. And that's not sustainable enough to scale and to offer the market something that they really value and truly want. So what is your why? Why are you building a personal brand? Let me share my why with you so you can understand what it means to have a why. When I started the Lebo brand, I decided that I wanted to change the global narrative of what people thought African marketers could do and what people thought African marketers thought. So I said to myself, how can I do this in the best way possible with my unique talents and skills? So my why in building the Lebo brand is in transforming the global marketing industry and showing people what African marketers can offer the game. Am I helping you tap into how to define your why? Think about this. This is a very important step. And when you get this right, it becomes easier to execute all the other steps in building your brand. Once you understand what your why is, the second step is to understand what your USP is. That's a very fancy term that we use in marketing that simply means your unique selling point. What makes you unique to the market? What are you selling that's different to other people? Now, there are many marketers in the world. I'm not the only African marketer. I'm not the only African marketer who's speaking to a global audience. But what makes Lebo different? Lebo is different because she's a podcaster. Lebo is different because she's able to transform people's businesses simply by writing threads. So your unique selling point might not become as obvious to you as you want it to be when you start this process, but over time in creation, you'll find that you refine this USP of yours and you iterate it until it truly fits what you're offering the market. So don't rush this step of building your personal brand. Keep creating it as you create content. Keep creating it as you build a community, and you'll see it unfold before your eyes. So Lebo unique selling point is that unlike other marketers, she's a great speaker and she's able to spread marketing messages across the globe through her Twitter threads and through her online assets and courses. After defining what your USP or unique selling point is, you need to start to define your goals and your vision. This is really important. Remember, at the core of a personal brand, you are a business because you are being commercially viable in your existence, which means you can monetize your presence and you can monetize your brand. So you need to have a vision and goals just like any other business plan for any other product or service. After defining your USP or your unique selling point, you need to start defining your vision and your goals. Remember, a personal brand is a business. So like any other product or service, you need to understand where you're going and how you're going to do that. And if you're going to be commercializing, which is what a personal brand does, it makes money, you need to be very clear on the steps to get there. And that's what your vision and your mission and your goals help you do. And a good tip to create great goals that help you get to where you're trying to go is to make them smart. And this simply means your goals have to be specific. So you have to be clear about where you're trying to go. The M stands for measurable. Your goals have to be measurable. You have to put in place systems that allow you to measure how far you've gone according to the goals that you've set. The A stands for attainable. It's very easy to dream, but once you try to make your dreams realistic, what you put down and what you expect changes. The goals that you set for yourself have to be things that you can actually achieve. The R in SMART stands for realistic. It's really great for you to want to be the first astronaut on the moon, if that's your goal. But you have to create goals that are more realistic than that. So what is your goal for the first year? Not what is your vision for the next 50 years. It's very important to do this because if your goals are not realistic, they become overwhelming and they become hard to achieve. And the last part of the SMART goals is the T, and this means time bound. So you have to put a timeline to what you are creating, to your vision and your goals. If you don't have a timeline, then you don't know when you're going to achieve things and you can't measure it effectively. Having timelines saves you and it allows you to iterate your strategy if it's not working. It allows you to see what works and what doesn't. So take a bit of time on this step because it's very important that your goals actually match what you can do and what you're trying to achieve. The fourth step of building a personal brand is understanding your target audience. Now, this is probably the trickiest part of building a personal brand because it's difficult for a human being to understand who might like their product and why people might like them. So this is a step that you're going to need a lot of assistance in. Don't be afraid to Google, don't be afraid to read more about it and to understand why people like you and what makes you special in the eyes of the consumers that you want to impact. Remember, there's a very big difference between your target audience and your customers. Your target audience are the people who you want to purchase your personal brand messaging and who you want to find value in your personal brand. But your customers are the actual people who buy what you're selling. And so over time, you find that you might have to amend and iterate your target audience based on your experience and who's actually buying your products and services. Remember that your target market isn't set. It can change over time, and that's a good thing. Once you see it growing and changing and becoming more diverse, it means that you're reaching more people and that your message can actually appeal to a larger market, and you want that. Don't be so tied to your target market that you don't allow yourself to grow. And also, because you're a personal brand, be kind to yourself. People won't always like you, but it doesn't mean that what you're offering doesn't have value. Stay on this target audience point. Keep iterating, keep working on it. It changes over time, and sometimes it might even lead your strategy for you to create something different and for you to offer the market something that you weren't even considering offering them. So make sure that you spend some time on this. The fifth part of building a personal brand is the content. I know most of us have heard the saying, content is king, and that's not a lie. Your content communicates who you are and what you're trying to achieve to your market. Without content, people won't even know that you exist. So the content is probably one of the most important parts in communicating your value to the market. Remember, as a personal brand, what sets you apart to other people is the value that you bring and the unique value that only you as Lebo or whoever you are can bring. right? So what we want to do when we're creating content is to make sure that we're using our own voices. Don't try to sound like someone else, because that person will always have an advantage over you. Make sure that you're tapping into your unique voice and understanding how you speak to people and how you communicate what you can offer. Part of creating content is also understanding the kind of content that fits your unique skills and talents. So some people are great speakers, and so they decide to create video content or audio content. Some people are great writers. Some people are good at drawing, and so they suit and customize their content to fit their unique skills. When you communicate in a method that suits your skills, you're more likely to access the markets that truly benefit from what you have to offer. So don't undermine this content part. It's a very important part. But also, don't get so bogged down on trying to create perfect content that you don't create content at all. It's better to have okay content. It's better to have content that might have a couple of mistakes than to have perfect content that you don't produce consistently. In the content game, consistency is key. You want to be posting frequently as you can in the beginning of your journey, because people need to know who you are. And you're also fighting all the noise and content that is online already. The most competitive thing about this global social media market that we're building our brands on is the amount of people and content that's on the market and that's in the market. So you want to make sure that you're trying to break through the noise by being consistently present and being consistently seen. The sixth part of building a personal brand online is choosing which social media platforms you want to use. I know this may seem like a really easy step, but this is where a lot of people who build personal brands fall. Because a lot of people want to be seen by everybody, so they use a strategy of, I'm going to use every single social media platform. But over time, you find that that becomes overwhelming, and you find that not all of your audience or your talents fit all of the social media platforms. So my advice to you is start small. Start with the platform that you know how to use, because that's the platform you're most likely to use frequently and to use masterfully. You want to be on a platform that you're on all the time, because it's all about consistency. But also, things to keep in mind when you're choosing a social media platform is every single social media platform has different value. And so that value is showcased in the kind of content that the algorithm allows that platform to push. When you think of a platform like TikTok, for example, it pushes video content. So if you're going to be creating your personal brand on TikTok, understand that most of your communication is going to require a video presence. But if you want to be on a platform like LinkedIn, then you can have various content. You can make it as diverse as you want it to be. You can have a mix of content. You can have video, you can have written, you can have audio. The sky is the limit. I also want to reiterate the point that in all of the content that you're creating, make sure that you can find ways to repurpose the content for other platforms. So this means that if you are creating a video for TikTok, maybe you could take the script from that video and use it as a written post on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to play around with the social media platforms. At the end of the day, you'll never really know which platform works best for you until you try to use it. So be mindful of which platform you choose, but don't take it too seriously. Start small, work on the platforms that work for you, and then grow from there. And the last and seventh step of building a personal brand is building a community. Now, this, in my opinion, is the most important step of building a personal brand. You cannot be a brand without a community rallying around you, validating your existence, and validating the value of what you have to offer. So your community is the most important. It's more important than the content that you produce. It's more important than having a great strategy. It's more important than choosing the right social media platform. When you have people around you, they can buy from you. When you have people around you, they're the people you use when you're pitching to investors, when you need funding for any project that you want to do. If you want to open an online store, this community is who's going to buy from you. So your community is the most important part of building a personal brand. They speak about you in rooms that you're not in, they repost you, they spread the word about you, and they make your brand valid. The most important thing about building a community is understanding that this is a relationship between you and other people. So don't be afraid to have conversations. Don't speak at the audience, speak with the audience. Have a conversation, and you'll unearth so many insights and so many tips that you can use to improve your personal brand. When you have a good relationship with your community, they help you build better products, create a better business, and have more success in anything that you do. So don't undermine your community, and make sure that those are the people who you're feeding every single day. Those are the people who you're coming to every single day, giving them the content and the value that they asked for. Thank you for tuning into this session, and I hope that with the tips that I've given you, you are able to start crafting a personal brand that really helps you build the life of your dreams. If you can monetize who you are and become the CEO of Brand You, the sky is the limit. And I think this is the true definition of switching it up.